Yep, the all-new Vivo V27. Well, we happen to be a part of one tech video by the famous and the most popular tracking tech, Arun Prabhu. We were part of one video that he released about the V27, and during that collaborative video, I realized that this phone has amazing camera capabilities, and I wanted to actually do a camera-specific video. So thanks to Arun and the people at Trakin Tech, we are here doing a camera-exclusive video of V27 from Vivo. Now, you know the tech specs by now, right? I mean, I don't want to go into it, but I just want to highlight a couple of things. Other than having all the latest tech going into it, it also has an amazing screen, an AMOLED Full HD Plus screen, like 2400 by 1080. That screen is brilliant. So when you look at your images shot on these cameras here, you will see great visuals in front of you. So let's get straight into the video. You can see three camera lenses in front, right? One is a 50 megapixel Sony's IMX766V as the main camera. Then you have a wide-angle camera, which is only an 8 megapixel, and the third one is a macro camera with only 2 megapixels. And the front camera also is a 50 megapixel camera. The rear camera, the 50 megapixel one, has an optical image stabilization. And the front camera, though it is a 50 megapixel sensor, it only has a digital image stabilization, no optical image stabilization. I'm sure by now you know what is an in-body image stabilization, an optical image stabilization, and digital image stabilization. All three are three different things. There are cameras in which you can actually apply all three together, and there are certain cameras where one of it or two of it in certain combinations available to you depending upon the camera's, let's say, range. This one only has an optical image stabilization, which means the lens elements move to stabilize the image. This camera also offers digital image stabilization, especially in the front camera. You have only that option, but you can also do the digital image stabilization in post. There is a small difference. If you shoot the camera with digital image stabilization activated, you will not really lose the resolution. Let's say, for example, if you're shooting a 4K, the camera will actually still, even after stabilization, will give you a 4K image or video rather. But if you choose to do the stabilization, the digital image stabilization in post, then the software will zoom into the image, resulting the loss of a little bit of the resolution. Of course, it will scale it properly. You will not really realize it unless it is too much of a shake and too much of zooming in. So now that you know what OIS and iOS, let's get into the camera. So remember the drill. Before you actually start shooting, clean the lens, and also this little very interesting light called the aura light. We'll talk about that as well. Into the camera, into the system on the right hand side top, and you can set your framing lines, which is the grid line, and a horizontal leveling line in case if it's required, a watermark if you need it, and also so many stabilization in case if you want to do that. Even in the stills you can stabilize, all right? So all that can be done, and there you go. The big promise by Vivo is the AI features which are built into this camera, especially when you shoot portraits and also when you shoot very low light images using the aura light. So what we did during that collaborative shoot is that, in fact, our academy students, of course, we have a photography and filmmaking academy here in Pune, and our students were practicing a wedding photography, a couple shoot. Incidentally, on that day when Arun walked in and we were doing this video, he handed over this phone and he said he talked about this special feature which basically allows you to shoot great wedding images. Of course, since we had these couples in-house and we went and shot, all I had to do was to request a little bit of time from the students and I started shooting these images. I got like 5 minutes to get familiarized with the camera. So this is what I have to tell you about this camera. In photo mode, you have AI activation. On the top, you have the Google lens and the flash and the HDR and something called natural color. So if you activate the natural color, it'll capture the images in natural color. The camera will allow you to deactivate it if you don't want. So that's an option. And of course, on the top, you also have the macro mode activation. And on the right side, of course, you saw it. It has the setting button as well. With regard to the AI features, in simple plain photo mode, it gives you a set of filters like you would see in, let's say, in Instagram, for example, except that this has a whole host of options available. Now, the whole host of possibilities open up the moment you shift to portrait mode. On the right hand side, you will see 3 icons: style, a phase effect, and also an aperture effect. That is basically controlling the depth of field. I'll demonstrate all to you. So the click on style and it'll open up a series of possibilities. So first is the natural one, camera panning, wedding. So basically the AI will assist you to achieve all these effects. Otherwise, the learning curve was a little more, so AI actually will step in and help you to achieve that effect, at the click of a button. Low light, it'll pick you and give you low light. It'll also give you vintage effects. The other is French impressions, flash portrait, and party. Okay, it gives you all those kind of effects. And what we shot with was the wedding, effect. Indian weddings are all about colors, okay? And I've seen lots of photographers struggling to, when I say struggling, literally struggling to retain those colors known as Rani colors, basically the bright orange, the parrot greens, aquamarine blue, and those are the colors which usually goes out of the reproducible gametes. Okay, especially most of them get it wrong because of wrong camera setting or wrong Photoshop and computer settings. But if you use the AI feature built in the V27 and opt for the wedding portrait option, you can actually swipe through a series of options and you can actually get that pop that is required in the colors. Okay, you can see what you see is what you get. So in the dress that we used, of course, we had that bright orange color. It was sheer divine luck. It was there and we could see the color popping up. Sometimes a little more than what a professional photographer might want, but a mobile photographer will definitely enjoy. And I'm sure your friends, your family, all are going to enjoy that additional pop. Especially when you share it in your Instagram, I'm sure people are going to call you and ask you, what did you do with that image, for sure. But the most interesting thing is that you don't have to do anything specially to get that effect. Usually what you do is after you shot the image, then you take it up onto another software like Lightroom or Snapseed, and then you actually do those colors, right? I mean, do all your corrections. But in this case, if you activate the wedding portrait in your AI in V27, you can actually see what you are getting. So we shot these images and I basically really liked them. We shared it in our Insta and our Facebook, and a lot of people really liked those images, and to some it came as a surprise because in the portrait mode it will also allow you to shoot in a very shallow depth of field if you control the aperture. These images, look at them, they actually look like as if it was shot on a professional camera. Yeah, maybe you can give me a little credit for lighting the right way and holding the camera and framing them in a certain way, which is something which you will learn with a lot of practice. But lot of work was done by the AI, which is built in, and it's only going to improve. The other feature, of course, is the complete control that it offers you on controlling the depth, and it's brilliant. I mean, earlier you could see a soft mask around you, right? A feathered mask around you in the earlier avatars of this shallow depth of field business. In this case, they have actually really mastered it. So the focus fall off is nice, it recognizes your face well, and it drops the background very nicely and very precisely. Next is, of course, the video. In video 2, you have the AI option, you have the HDR option, and of course you also have an image stabilization option. So you have standard image stabilization, which I'm assuming that it gives you only optical image stabilization, and the moment you click on to ultra, you will get OIS, optical image stabilization, plus digital image stabilization. And of course, you can also choose to switch it off completely. Now, when you do that, you can actually see a magnification. So for example, so this is my image. This is what I'm seeing completely. The moment I go and switches it on to standard, you see a little bit of zooming in because the camera is taking that, using that elbow room that is available in that 50 megapixel to give you that 4K video stabilized image. And if I go opt for ultra, you will see a little bit more of zooming in because it is now zooming in for digitally correcting a motion image. I explained to you in the beginning. No, that's something that you will, enjoy definitely. And of course, you have all the color effects available here. You also have all the face effects available here. You also have the depth of field control available here. All in all, these features will definitely help you to improve your stills and video taking capability. Now let me shoot the front camera. All right, so here is the front camera, which is in portrait mode and 50 megapixel. And let me activate the HDR so the background comes in, and also the HD portrait. Okay, so this is a nice portrait. Let me show you how the shallow depth of field, because front camera, it just shoots, right? Doesn't usually give you too much control on the depth, but in this case, it actually gives you a lot of control. So now if you look at the backdrop, yeah, see the backdrop, it's really actually gone soft like a digital camera. So the bokeh is superb. Let me take a shot at with a strong bokeh. Now with a mid-size bokeh. And with full depth, and it says it's f16. Interestingly, it also shoots stabilized video even with the front camera. So, okay, so this is front camera without any digital image stabilization. Remember, the front camera do not have any optical image stabilization. Now, let's do the same thing with digital image stabilization. And you can actually see a little bit of zooming in, but the image is relatively more stabilized. This one is the rear camera without any stabilization. Now this one is with optical image stabilization. All right, action. This one is with optical image stabilization plus digital image stabilization. Now don't be under the impression that this shoots only portraits, okay? The Vivo V27 can shoot everything. I mean, I got out, yesterday was a Sunday, I got out and shot some interesting simple landscapes in our township, and here they are. Well, in the Pro mode, it also allows you to shoot very high resolution images. Let me shoot a very high resolution image here. And high resolution image will actually give you 3 times more heavier file. So let me just shoot it in regular resolution. It'll still give you 50 megapixel, but it'll be a little more compressed kind of image. It also has a Pro mode. Anybody is kicked about shooting in Pro mode, you know, choosing all the parameters on your own, that's available too. And it also has a whole host of other, interesting features like dual view, live photo, time-lapse, pano, and of course it also has a scanner, slow motion, videos as well. So this phone camera is feature-packed. The next one is the Aura light. You know how ugly the photos used to come out if you activate and take a picture using the built-in, those small LED flashes, very flat and stuff. But this Aura light in combination with the AI, when you shoot portraits, especially in very low light, absolutely no light. Take a look at this. I mean, we were shooting in absolute darkness and see what result it came out with. Take a look at this image, which was shot only with the Aura light. To an untrained eye, it can look like the shot with some professional lighting setup. So AI and AI all the way. Now, it's no longer a secret that all the mobile phone brands invest heavily in improving the camera capabilities of their mobile phones. Brands like Vivo, which has research centers all over the world, 6 out of 8 researches heavily on the camera capability. One of our videos, which actually went viral with more than 11 million views on mobile phone photography, shoot like a pro. Well, in that video, I started the statement saying that the mobile phone being the real reason for democratizing photography, and phones like the Vivo V27 is further accelerating that process. I see you in another video. Bye for now.